How's it going, everybody?
It's me,
This is Dublin,
Mario.
and I'm going to do a commentary on a recent Mario 64 speedrun I just achieved. This is a 16-star run that was played on the Nintendo 64 with the American version of the game in 18 minutes and 4 seconds, and this was a pretty good run for me. Off the top, I just got this, and off the top of my head, I can only think of maybe 10 or so seconds of mistakes that I can improve. So this was a very solid run of mine. And just for a little background, I started speedrunning this game about a year ago, and only really seriously started doing it in maybe 8 or 9 months ago. So I finally have a time that I am happy with in this category. Alright, so the first trick you'll see here is called Lakitu Skip, which is just a skip that allows you to skip past the Lakitu that usually wastes about 9 seconds in a run if you don't execute it correctly. And in every single Mario 64 speedrun where you don't use a glitch called LBLJ, you have to do 1 star at least in Bob on Battlefield here, and that's generally the behind chain chomp skate star, but instead of pounding the chain chomp, I use a trick called bomb clip to quickly get behind the gate and collect the star, and that was pretty much executed perfectly. Sometimes you can mess up a little bit and still make the clip because the bomb has a timer on it, but if you do it right, you should easily make the clip. Alright, so next we're going to head over to Womp's Fortress, where we'll collect 4 stars. In 16 star, you generally want to collect as the quickest 16 stars in the game that you can use to beat Bowser. You also manipulate tricks called Mips Clip and BLJs. We'll talk about those in a few minutes, though. So this is one of the shortest stars in the game, shooting the Wild Blue. Usually, well, Nintendo intended for you to use a cannon here, but you can easily just wall kick right on up. It's pretty easy. And if you speedrun the game on the Nintendo 64, which most runners do, you're going to experience some in-game lag that the N64 makes because it has trouble loading everything. There are a few strategies you can use to reduce the lag. One of them being try to delay your battle with the Womp King as much as you can, because after you kill the Womp, the tower spawns in Womps, which creates lag. And this next star I'm going to do, there's actually a strategy that I use to reduce this lag. So the last star I used Mario Cam C back, which is a farther out Mario Cam, or Lakitu Cam, and now I'm using it C up. And we don't really know why this happens, but it just pretty much prevents the lag from existing almost. So when you do this star, you want to do that. So that star had maybe a second or two worth of mistakes, nothing major. Alright, then the last star we're going to do, Womp's Fortress, is the Owl Star. And there's a quicker way to do this where you wall kick into the cage that saves 2 to 3 seconds, but I have not yet practiced that very much and I'm not very consistent at it, so I just use the owl. The owl really isn't too bad to use. It's only 2 or 3 seconds loss if you use the owl over the harder but quicker strat. Alright, so I believe I finished Womps at around a time of 4:25 in this run. The best I've ever gotten is a 4:19, so that's pretty good, 4:25. Getting lower than 4 minutes 20 seconds with 5 stars out of Womps is pretty unheard of. I've only done it once. Alright, and here is CCM, Cool Mountain. this first star, you're supposed to use a can to shoot down here, but we can just jump all the way down because the programmers didn't realize that this was possible when they made the game. So yeah, that star went pretty well. Alright, next we're going to do the slip slide and away star. You can actually avoid doing this star if you get the blast away the wall star using a trick called cannonless in this game. But cannonless is one of the most precise tricks you could do, and honestly, it's not worth it in my opinion. And if you actually get the cannonless and skip this star, it only saves around 8 seconds. So I just take the 8-second loss and do the star because I really don't like cannonless as a trick, and I honestly never go for it. Alright, and lastly in Cool Mountain, we're going to do the Little Penguin Lost Star, which is extremely quick. It looks to a casual player that this would be very hard to pull off, but it honestly really isn't. This is one of the easier stars in the game, definitely. Alright, so now we have 8, we can unlock the first Bowser stage, which permits us access to the basement. And if you do not use LBLJ in a 16-star run, you're going to want to just get to the first Bowser level as quick as you can. And those 8 stars that I did are pretty much the 8 fastest you can do. Alright, this is one of the most difficult stages in the game, especially if you do the red coin mission with it. You generally want to do a red coin star with this stage, just because it's only around 15 to 20 seconds slower. So this stage, it's cycle-based, meaning that one of the red coins you collect depends on which cycle you get to collecting the red coin. So here I actually get a mixture of an early cycle. So when I collected that red coin, I got the earliest cycle possible, but then I kind of slowed down my movement, and then I ledge grabbed there. So overall, it was probably not much different time-wise than a regular cycle that you would get. The cycle that I collected the red coin on is pretty difficult to get. You pretty much have to have a perfect Bowser in the Dark World in order to pull it off, but overall, that was a pretty good Dark World for me. And this throw almost missed. If you miss a throw in this game, it wastes around 12 seconds. It wastes more if you miss it on Bowser in the Fire Sea, because he tilts the stage down if you miss it. But that was very close to missing, and I'm lucky that I actually got that throw. So I'm finishing Bowser in the Dark World at around 8 minutes 35 seconds, which is pretty good for me. It's probably around average. I've gone lower than 8 minutes 30 seconds, so that's nothing to complain about there. Now we're heading towards the basement, where the run gets significantly more difficult. Honestly, before you get to the basement, the run isn't very difficult at all, just because the stars are so quick and pretty much easy that it doesn't really... The time I get out of Bowser in the Dark World doesn't change very much. And here's in the towns of the Big Bird, and this star to a casual watcher looks like it's really, really tricky and challenging, but to a speedrunner, this is one of the easier stars in the game. It looks really cool, but it's really not that hard to pull off. Of course, I'm speaking, and I'm a speedrunner of this game, so it's not hard for me to pull off, obviously, but once you get into speedrunning this game, this star doesn't get very difficult. Alright, this next star is shouting atop the pyramid, and I did it pretty much perfectly. I actually left this stage with a time that was less than 10 minutes, which is really good for me. It was 9:59. It was just under 10 minutes, but that's generally very good for me. And then the only star you get in Lethal Lava Land is the red coin star, which is extremely fast and fun to pull off just because of the sounds you get to hear of the red coins.
Here we go!
Okay, and the basis of the 16-star run is that you need to activate Mips the bunny, so you could clip your way into Bowser in the Fire Sea and Dire Docks. And how to spawn Mips is you need 15 stars. So once you get in the basement, your goal is to just get 15 stars as quickly as you can. So, yep. Hazy Maze Cave is one of the stages that's probably the most broken in the game. Broken meaning that you can do so many tricks in this stage that the game designers didn't intend you to be able to do. They aren't demonstrated very well in the 16-star speedrun, but in 70-star and 120-star, you can see that you can exploit Hazy Maze Cave a lot in order to go fast. Here I make a little mess up. I was supposed to be able to wall kick off that wall and grab the star quickly, but that's not very big. It's maybe 3 seconds of mistake, or maybe 2. Alright, this is the first difficult part of the run. This is Mips Clip, which you basically have to catch Mips the bunny, and you'll see. You do not want to collect its star because it's not needed at all for the run. I know it's tempting to collect it, but you really don't want to. This is Mips Clip. You want to position yourself so that you could grab Mips, position yourself in the door and grab Mips and put him to the other side. That was a flawless Mips Clip. I usually get him 3rd or 4th try, and this time it was the 1st try. And then this part of it is pretty easy. You just need to put him down on the side of the door, and you're in Dire Docks. So that was pretty much flawless. I couldn't have asked for a better one. Mips Clip is one of the tricks that really determine the overall time of a 16-star run. So I'm very happy I got that quickly. And this is the last star we're actually going to collect in this run. Being that collecting the star that we're doing now, Board Bowser's sub allows you to enter Bowser in the Fire Sea, and once you collect the key for Bowser in the Fire Sea, you can use a trick called backwards long jumping and make your way up to the final Bowser level. So there's our final star. But there's around another 4 minutes of the run just getting to the final Bowser level and actually doing that. Alright, here's Bowser in the Fire Sea. This is also cycle-based, much like Bowser in the Dark World, where if you go extremely fast in the stage, you can make an early cycle, which is very difficult to pull off. I'm about 30% with it, meaning 30% of the time I get the really fast cycle. Unfortunately, this run I didn't get that cycle because of this mistake. Also, my beginning wasn't very fast, but the cycle in Bowser in the Fire Sea is really, really lenient, which means that you can mess up a lot and still make the cycle that's slower than the fast one, which is the general one that most people get, unless you're a very good player. And here is a trick where I long jump along the side of the lava. It's kind of tricky. It's really not that bad, though, because it's honestly just holding straight and long jumping, and then you want to boost yourself up to the Bowser fight. if you miss that Bowser throw, it wastes a lot of time because Bowser does his sinking of the platform animation again. So I left Bowser in the fire seat with a time of 15:09, which is very good for me. And that time is honestly based solely on how the MIPS clip went. And I've only gotten less than 15 minutes for that, for Bowser in the fire seat time, twice. So 15:09 is pretty good for me. Alright, and here's, in my opinion, the most crucial part of the run, the backwards long jumps. MIPS clip is also another one, but it's not as horrible as this one. Backwards long jumping is not luck-based, but it's extremely precise, and it's very easy to mess it up. So I basically got a perfect first one. You can argue that it was maybe a little bit slow, but honestly, that's pretty good for me. That's pretty much perfect. And that's a small mistake. We're actually wall kick against the wall. And here is the second VLJ, where you go up the never-ending stairs. And sometimes you can clip the wall like that and it'll cancel your BLJ, but luckily I got a second one really fast and made it to the top. So here we are in Bowser in the Sky, the final level of the game. I executed the stage pretty well. I only made one mistake, which you can see at the end of the stage. And it wasn't really a mistake, it was just more that my heart was pounding and I was sweating, so I didn't want to go for a somewhat risky strat. Sometimes this strat that I didn't do can end in death. You would usually long jump over to where the Goombas are, but sometimes the Goomba can knock you off if your luck is very bad. So I entered the final fight around 17:16, and generally, with perfect Bowser throws, it takes you 45 seconds from when you enter the pipe to collect the final star. So my finger actually slips there, but I managed to get the first throw off well. And here's the final throw. So I end this run with an overall time of 18 minutes and 4 seconds, which is the best I've ever done. So there we go. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed the speedrun, I stream speedruns basically daily on my Twitch channel, which is, I can link below. I also have a Twitter that's below. So thank you all for watching, and have a great day.